Hey, it's Karen Sargent from the Sunny Patio Project. This is a quick walkthrough of some of the steps that I recommend in my article. I hope you find it useful. I'd love to hear your comments and questions, so please leave them below or come find me at sunnypatioproject.com. As I talk all day long about scoping out all the major tasks for your launch and getting them into software, I figured I should walk you through an example and talk about some of the best practices, or at least how I approach organizing a project in a piece of software. And today I'm using Redbooth, which may be new to you, but it's a rebranded Teambox. Teambox rebranded and refreshed its look in January 2014, and you can tell it looks really, really great. This is my current favorite piece of software to manage projects in. So I thought I would introduce the look and feel of Redbooth as I'm making my points about task lists and organization and things like that. I suggest that you break your project into two main components. One is either the course or the offering itself, because just the course creation has a number of moving parts in it, and I think it makes sense to manage it in its own project. And then a second project for everything else, sort of all the other promotional, website, tech, all of those other things that need to happen in order to get your course out the door. So course creation, like I said, has a number of categories, sort of the big building blocks of what it takes to create a course. And I create those as task lists in Redbooth. So the foundational stuff, this is the high-level organization, the design. We get into content creation and materials creation. I would populate these lists with a whole host of tasks and flesh them out. And then you can see down in project launch, the same thing is going on. There's a number of tasks that populate underneath all of these sort of headliners here. I think the important thing is to brainstorm all the tasks. Don't worry about who does them or when they're due. And you don't even have to do it in the software. You can actually do it with a piece of paper or in a Google Docs. Just brainstorm all the tasks. And I'm talking the 30, 50, 60, 70 tasks that will need to get completed in order to get your project launched. So brainstorm them first, data enter them first, and then worry about syncing them up with a person who will do it and a due date. But please don't shortchange that item. I do see some teams, first individual operators and some teams, who do not assign out tasks to a person or put a due date on them. And I think that's a real disservice. I think it absolutely is problematic if you're working in a team and you don't use those features of your piece of software. That's because it's difficult to manage past a 2 or 3 day time horizon. You're just not quite clear when things are due. And I just think it's just it makes everyone's life so much easier. So do go ahead and assign it out and create a due date. And once you do, you'll see that there's a number of features inside Redbooth and in other pieces of software that help you manage your project. So I'm going to go over here to the reporting menu. And you can see for me, there is a card here of all the tasks that I've done in the last 7 days and those that I have planned for the next 7 days, and then these that are sitting here without a due date. And I can look at this card for any number of people on my team, so that as a project manager, that really gives me a very good understanding of what people's weeks and workloads look like. Even better is this workload view, which shows everybody all at once. So my team is down the left-hand side, and then across the top there, you see all of the tasks, sort of all the team, all the tasks in one big window. And this is a project manager's dream. So especially if I have team members that can backfill for others, this is a view that I can use to even out workloads and to make sure everyone's workload is sane and nobody's getting snowed under. Of course, the last little view that we all love, I'm going to switch this to all users, is the calendar, and seeing due dates as they're due is a great aid to moving your project along and making sure it's on track. So you can see here, these are all the tasks, no matter who's doing them, when they're due, and then kind of color coded and indicated of what project they belong to. So that's another great way to manage the tasks and manage the workload.